Classical musicians rely too much on the composer's instructions instead of thinking for themselves. I have a theory that if you took away all the added markings, the dynamics, the expression, the timings, the tempo, I could figure all that out just from the notes themselves. Let's put it to the test. For this video, my friend has given me some random pieces and he's removed a lot of the markings. I'm gonna try to fill them in and we'll see by the end how well I did. Okay, here we go. In 3. Pretty simple so far. I don't recognize this. Okay, this has got to be something from the classical period already because we're just in 1 and then 5. Super simple, has this 5-1 kind of motion. I'm automatically just thinking like simple piano, kind of a dolce thing, but they would not write dolce. 2-note slurs, that's a very classical thing. But what they probably wouldn't do, I don't know if there's like a Henley edition, they probably wouldn't actually write staccato markings. That's kind of implied with this kind of music. Crescendo here. Okay, and because this is a theme, so it's gonna be a theme in variations, I'm gonna go with something stately like an allegretto or maybe an andante. Let me try it. What am I playing? Andante? But this music is too exciting. Well, I'm gonna try it faster just for the heck of it. All right, let me write some dynamics in. So, piano to begin. I'm gonna go with piano. With my finger. I don't even use the stylus, I don't need that. Piano. Doesn't change here. Now a big crescendo. Maybe they'd reiterate piano and then do a crescendo and then this is gonna be forte. Should I throw in a cheeky subito piano there? I'm gonna do it. Maybe even crescendo to the piano. Kind of depends. If it's Haydn, that's very different than Mozart. The piano would not be on the downbeat. It would be here so that we can get a nice... I'm so wrong, by the way, about all this. That's piano for sure. I mean, how dumb would that sound? That F major arrival. No cheeky piano here. Let's stay strong. So I think it just stays forte till the end. Okay, I don't have a ton of stuff here because I think it's from maybe like an early classical period. I'm gonna go with Haydn.
You, sir, are incorrect.
Oh, am I really wrong? Oh my God, I'm awful. Is this Beethoven or something? Vivace? And Sforzandos? Oh my God. See, this is the genius of, this is Beethoven, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is what Beethoven does, though. He takes kind of simple music and he does unexpected things with it. It kind of makes sense how wrong I am. So he's really insistent. That's hilarious. He has piano in the right hand and piano in the left hand, which is totally unnecessary. But the reason he does it is because he's gonna have this odd sforzando here, interrupting. And he has a crescendo in the right hand, so why forte there? It's just going to C major, the key of the piece. And then piano suddenly. To forte, this is, yeah. And then, okay, sforzando on these offbeats makes sense for Beethoven, if you know it's Beethoven. And then a crescendo like I predicted. At least I got something right. Okay, kind of a subito piano. I was a little bit right, but I overdid it. I wrote, what did I write? All the way to there. But Beethoven only goes. But let's see what he does in the second half. So piano, okay, I'm a little bit, not totally off. More crescendo. Piano. Crescendo. Arrival. Except I wanted that downbeat strong. Beethoven wants the offbeat strong. Although there's still this impetus on the first of a two-note slur, pretty much always in the classical period. So with this offbeat accent or sforzando, he's kind of saying, just make sure the offbeat is also strong. Not necessarily be weak on the downbeat. Fortissimo. Yeah, Mozart's not writing that, Haydn's not writing that. And then back to forte just for the end. Clearly, I don't know the Diabelli variations well enough, so this was a good learning experience for me. All right, next one. Okay, I already know what this is, actually. This is Chopin. I've never performed this, but okay, so this is a Chopin waltz? Yeah, not a mazurka. So waltzes really always have this feeling of 1, 2, 3, 1. Whoops, sorry. And mazurkas tend to have an emphasis on 2 instead of 1 or 3, but that's not always the case. But anyway, so beautiful. Let me try to guess the dynamics because I don't actually know that. Resolving to C sharp minor there, I'm gonna work from the back and say that there's a little decrescendo here. I don't think he would actually write a piano. And always there's this feeling of a sigh, an emphasis, and then a decay. So I'm gonna, again, he's tricky with writing definitive dynamic markings, I think, because he likes to change them up himself, but he likes to write these crescendos and decrescendos, hairpins. I'm gonna say that there's a hairpin here. These beautiful little interludes are so sweet. I'm gonna write dolce on each of them. No, not each of them, just the first one. And maybe a piano. I'm overmarking already, for sure. Let me go back to the beginning. That's bold. I mean, listen to the range of it, how it's covering a lot of the piano, and the density of the left-hand accompaniment here. I'm gonna go mezzo forte. Yeah, this one's probably an unnecessary hairpin. It's kind of implied, just for the way it resolves. That's a little bit of a tension, and then a release. Then back to something strong. You know what? I'm gonna write mezzo forte, just in case we forgot. Piano, again, just as a reminder, these composers overmark everything. I want a crescendo here, but I doubt that's written, but I'm just gonna do it as this is a Daniel marking. Because it's like, we've heard this before, we get it, and that is leading to this. Not that, that. And that's the start of a big crescendo. So I'm gonna write, I don't know, I'm gonna throw in a crescendo there. Tempo marking. Is there a tempo marking in these waltzes? Would he really write a tempo marking? Obviously it's not allegro. Andante cantabile. Is that even a tempo marking? Andante cantabile. I'm doing it. Commitment. How'd I do? Tempo giusto, okay. Yeah, of course I'm not gonna get that. 64-2. This is a waltz, of course, by Chopin, of course. Wow, he has a decrescendo already in the first two bars. I kind of assumed that without writing it. I can't erase my markings. I'm already wrong. And see, this is what I mean by Chopin not needing to write his actual dynamics. I think it's too objective. It's too definite for him to want to say this is forte, this is piano. Instead, let me give you these gestures, these hairpins. So, and less a crescendo there. I'm just straight up wrong here. And then he has a crescendo there leading into that chord. So that's what I put later, but not in this one. I prefer that to be kind of subito, I guess, in my heart. This is like Daniel's heart versus what Chopin wrote. I don't know where that leaves us, but again, a decay. I kind of got that one. Crescendo. Okay, so all this dolce stuff, I'm just imagining. This is just what I think the music does. It just feels sweet to me there. Okay, moving on. He wants a decrescendo here so that he can build. And then more, right, where am I? Etc. And then he has a big decay. I'm gonna give myself like a B on that. Yeah, I did okay. But for a piece so famous and by such a famous composer, I should really know that. That was kind of humbling. Yeah. Okay, moving on. Can we get out of the minor? Yes, D major. How about I play the rest? Oh boy. Okay, I'm already gonna say that this is slow because the rhythms are fast. It's in 2. Okay, what is this, classical? Probably. When I see 2-note slurs, you know, it's like, that's such a classical gesture. Seems classical to me. But it's kind of stopping and starting in a way that... That's why I definitely wouldn't say Mozart. Haydn can have this more jerky feeling where he's changing from phrase to phrase in a more dramatic way. What? Oh, sorry. Okay, there's a lot of shifting back and forth. This is probably more dramatic than I'm playing it. Piano. I'm just gonna assume that this is late enough in the classical period that they would actually write dynamics. What is that? It's like changing rhythms so quickly. Decrescendo at the end, forte here. Again, remember what I said about Baroque. Even though I don't think this is from the Baroque period, the higher, generally the louder. I mean, that's a basic thing to say, but it's mostly true. As opposed to, you know, in the Romantic period, you might have the opposite. You might have the higher you get, you might want to actually come down in dynamic, but that's a very romantically expressive sentiment. The higher, the louder. So now what about this? Gotta be softer. This is delicate. It's distilling things down to just one voice on top. This is like a recitative from an opera. So when you have the singer up top and then these little chords happening underneath it, supporting, but only for a second, because then look, if you play loud stuff in the middle range of the piano, it just sounds bad. Like this kind of thing just sounds bad. But you can play, generalizing like crazy, but when you have this low range, it wants to be heavier. It wants to give the richness that the piano can give. This instrument wants, this kind of thing. It wants the outer ranges to be big and the middle stuff to be lighter, just naturally. I mean, play like any Schumann and you'll find that. But so piano, delicate, beautiful little song to yourself here, and then we have another recitative. This kind of thing makes me feel like it's Baroque or classical. That gesture of having a suspension like that in thirds. I'm gonna go C.P.E. Bach on this. It's probably some composer I don't really know, like Hummel. I'm losing my mind. I've been doing sight reading too much. That sounds beautiful at a slow tempo. I'm doing Adagio. I'm committing. Adagio is a slow enough tempo, but it's not lento. And I didn't fill in nearly enough dynamics. Let me keep going for a second. Boom. All right, publish that. How did I do? Is this some contemporary piece by Steve Reich or something?
Well, first off, let's ask, who do you think it is?
I think it's C.P.E. Bach.
You, sir, are correct.
No way. Wow. I'm a little bit impressed with myself. But I got the tempo utterly wrong. It's a allegretto. Wow. Wishful thinking to I really wanted to milk all these intervals. There's such beautiful chromaticism in this, So, I mean, an actual allegretto would be probably, right? I can't even play it. Oh my God, reaches all the way up. Okay, this goes against my rule of higher is louder, right? C.P.E. Bach is he dramatizes things to an extreme. It's really kind of really experimental for the time. And then just decides to end forte. Totally opposite of what I had. Okay, C.P.E. Bach, I'm gonna have to dig some more into your rep, because this is really a lot of interesting music in a very small amount of space. I didn't even cover the last two lines because there's just so much in those first four. Okay, last one. Let's get this over with. G minor. Kind of an overture sort of feeling at the beginning, announcing very stately. Probably quicker than this. A lot of drama. This is romantic. What I was saying about the pedal points. Do anything above that, it's just creating tension. Okay, we got some counterpoint here. That's telling. This pedal point is telling. I'm just gonna immediately write in a crescendo here because it has to. Back to the beginning, which is, this is revealing. This kind of has to be forte, which means the beginning is forte because this is the same music. And I don't think it decrescendos there. I think it holds the tension with that 5 chord. Rest. Oh, beautiful. That's more sensitive. A kind of deception, I'm going to say either there's a decrescendo or a sudden piano. So I'll say that it even changes dynamics here to mezzo piano and then decrescendos. And then what happens here? Oh, beautiful. Piano. Piano cantabile, even. Schumann-esque. It might be Schumann. Is that possible? See, I think it's German or German influence because of, first of all, the counterpoint. Not that other composers from other countries don't use counterpoint, but there's something about it that's just very like regulated in its counterpoint. It's not obscuring it, it's very clear. That makes it feel German to me. And then when you have chords that big, that eliminates, I think, probably people like, obviously it's like later than someone like Schubert. This isn't the Romantic era. I don't think it changes tempo. Oh, does it change tempo? Yeah, so I'm gonna straight up write allegro at the beginning. Allegro is a nice like catch-all. Allegro is like, that could be really fast, or it could be pretty fast, or it could be fast. Like, allegro is kind of a lazy tempo marking, and that's why I'm using it. What if it changed tempo here? I'm gonna do something radical. I'm gonna say tenoramente, even though that's completely wrong. Tenora? Is it? I'm gonna say tenora. This video is so that I embarrass myself, right? How about we decrescendo here at the end of the phrase? And crescendo into that final suspension. I don't think I know this composer. Do I know this composer? Not if you do. Oh boy. Oh boy. I'm gonna say, oh my God. I'm gonna say either Schumann or Chopin. I'm gonna go Chopin. Is it Chopin?
No.
Oh my God. Clara, I'm so sorry, Clara. Okay. Yeah, don't know the sonata, and I probably should. I don't know a lot of Clara's music, and you know, there's so much famous stuff. The romances I've played, but wrong about the opening dynamic. And it sounds so obvious and good the way that she wrote it. I think there's a suspense in that quiet, you know, there's a mystery to the, you know what? I've learned a lot today because I just assume that you can get everything inherently from the texture and the notes. And this sounds good to me. I believe that is a totally fine option of writing, and so is this. So there's just something, shocker, there is something to dynamics. They actually matter. Then because we're already soft, she doesn't need to write soft. But I did, I wrote mezzo piano. It's actually piano, fine. Crescendo here I got. And then she writes piano, and I don't even know what this means. Did you translate this?
I mean, with deep feeling.
Yeah, of course, something like that. And I wrote con espressivo. Do I get credit? Do I get a little credit there? So I was assuming a fuller sound here, but piano sounds really good. And I would play out in this piano anyway. I mean, it's piano, but it's cantabile. Piano with feeling, especially in the Romantic era. You want to give it some juice, some life. The worst thing, it's like nails on a chalkboard when a pianist plays a piano melody line in the Romantic era with not enough fullness. You know, if you're playing even like something like intimate, like Traumerei, if we're going to use Robert Schumann for a second. You know, I think that all this is piano, but you have to sing, and in order to sing, you need some substance to the sound. So it's piano, but it's a romantic piano. And then forte here. I didn't even catch that. Yeah. Right, the way that she's turning the phrase now with these intervals is more impassioned. Makes sense. Then a diminuendo. Yeah, I sort of got that. Sorta. Give me half credit. At least there. And then there's no crescendo here, really. I see, because this whole thing is changed now that she started piano. So because she started piano, then what we're expecting, so the surprise, the real surprise, is the fact that she's no longer piano. Okay. I love it, and I want to play this piece. I was right about a few things, really wrong about some important things, including the composer. So this is nice, man. Thanks for introducing me to all this amazing music. I have learned a lot. This was super humbling, and I want to do it again so that I can learn some more music. Okay, so in conclusion, this was really humbling. This whole exercise helped me think way more creatively about how to actually look at a score, and it also made me realize that those little expressive markings could go either way sometimes, especially with composers like Beethoven or the Schumanns or Chopin. There's something to them. Composers are doing things to subvert your expectations, so it only makes sense that I would get a lot of things wrong. That said, I'm gonna get back on my horse, and I'm probably gonna try this again and hopefully get better and better at it, and it'll probably teach me how to think more like a composer. Let me know in the comments below how you guys did and what you got from all this. Thanks, see you at the next one.